People often ask me what got me started in building these videos and building cars and stuff. And it all started years ago when I was a kid, when I was first getting started with building models. I got really hooked on models, and that's how I basically learned all the parts of a hot rod and all where they went and how they've worked. And then I bought all the hot rod magazines, and at the time, back in the 50s, that's when the magazines were the small ones, just the real small ones. And so I went ahead and I really got involved with that. And one of the interesting things about it is my dad never had anything to do with cars. And as a result, he said, well, you don't need a car, and you're not going to have a driver's license till you're 18 years old. So I went ahead and started working on my mom, and my mom finally convinced him. So my first car was actually a 49 Mercury. And so I got this 49 Merc, and I rebuilt it in my garage, and that was a long process. It took me a couple years to do it, and I won't go into the details of that. But anyway, that's how I basically got started. And then as I started building car models, as different models came out, AMT came out with a lot of different models. The hot rods actually started coming out on the scene, where the 32 Roadster came out. You could build it 3 different ways, and the 40 Ford Coupe and a lot of the other ones. And so that's what really got me hooked and started. So I kind of got interested in that, and then I started working with cars with my 49 Merc and models and back and forth and doing all this while I was going to school and putting hot rod magazines in my school books in class and reading them and trying to fake the teacher out. But you know, it worked most of the time, but I still had to do my homework. But then as I got older, I started building cars from scratch, building hot rods and stuff. And I was actually a senior in high school when I built my first Roadster. And I started off, I had a 4-inch vise that I clipped to the table out in the garage. I had a hacksaw, I had a 1/4-inch electric drill, and I later bought a 1/2-inch electric drill and some files. And on the 1/4-inch electric drill, I had a disc sander. And so I wound up building parts and bolting brackets on with a hacksaw and a file and drilling them with those holes. I didn't have a drill press, I didn't have a welder. Any welding that I had to have done, I had to take it into a welding shop. And I actually had a friend that worked in one of those. He charged me for it, but he was a certified welder, and so I got the welding done for my cars, and then basically my cars were bolted together. And so as I got older and went in the Navy and learned more about mechanics and started working on more and more cars and everything, I got to the point where I really always came back to the old hot rods, the T-buckets, the Model A's, and these are the things that I really enjoyed working on. And so I started as a kid reading about these things, and then I would try doing them, and I dreamed about them, and I drew pictures, and I worked my way through that whole process of designing and manufacturing and doing things the hard way. I think I've done everything that you can do wrong the hard way. And then as I got older and I was able to become familiar with a drill press, I was able to learn how to run a drill press, a grinder, a bench grinder. That was a big help. And then I was also able to basically, through some limited instruction from some of the mechanics, learn how to gas weld and how to use oxyacetylene and then how to do stick welding. And so I progressed on up. And so basically I'm about 80–85% self-taught all through my life. I haven't had a lot of real instruction on a lot of things until I actually got older.